Good evening, everyone. I welcome all the investors and analysts to our earnings call for Q3 of financial year 2023-24. Hope you all have been able to go through our detailed number as well as presentation which were released yesterday. I will briefly cover the key highlights for the quarter. During the quarter, IRB Infrastructure Trust has backed two projects, that is TOT-12, tolling operation, maintenance and transfer for 4-lane Lalitpur-Sagar Lucknow section in the state of UP and MP for an upfront consideration of rupees 4,428 crores to NHAI for revenue-linked concession period of 20 years. And TOT-13, comprising of Gwalior-Jhansi section on NH-44 and Kota bypass on NH-76 for an upfront consideration of 1,683 crores to NHAI for revenue-linked concession period of 20 years. We have signed the concession agreement for TOT-12 and 13 and expect to achieve the financial closure by end of this financial year. ADC Aurangabad SPV has received favorable arbitration award and details for the same. We will receive a cash compensation of around 1720 crores, including interest payable as on date of award. Rupees 1680 crores will accrue to IRB and balance to SPV, and plus interest from the date of award till realization of the amount. And there is extension in the concession period of 689 days, and 651 days will accrue to IRB. Brief background of the claim. YTPL, that is the SPV, has commenced the construction of the project from July 1, 2015, and it was scheduled to be completed within 910 days, that is December 26, 2017. However, due to delay in handing over of the land and for other reason attributable to NHAI, the project completion on entire length was delayed, and the project was finally completed on September 24, 2020. As a result of above delay, YTPL has incurred time and cost overrun for which it has claimed from NHAI on March 12, 2021, and the same was disputed by NHAI and had led to arbitration. The arbitration tribunal has now granted award in favor of YTPL. Now, coming to the Samakkali Tollway Private Limited, has received appointed date from the competent authority. Accordingly, the SPV has commenced the toll collection and construction on the project. The project will be executed by IRB Infrastructure Trust, and EPC and O&M will done by IRB. The private InvIT has declared distribution of 288 crores, and the same will reflect in the cash flow of IRB to the extent of 51% in the coming quarter. This is the second consecutive distribution from the private trust. While on the books, the PAT will be seemingly negative for short while, the operations are cash flow positive, which will continue to support distribution ongoing. The loss in private InvIT is also on account of the fair valuation loss, which is booked close to 50 crores during the quarter. IRB has also declared 10% as interim dividend, and this is the second interim dividend for financial year 2023 and 24. In aggregate, IRB has paid 120 crores as a dividend for financial year 24. As communicated earlier, IRB Infrastructure Trust has received a sanction of 6,390 crores towards refinancing of the SPV debt for 5 of its project SPV, and successfully completed the refinancing of the balance SPV during the quarter. This upstreaming of the project level debt to the InvIT will significantly improve the cash flow for the unit holder, given the back-ended amortization, optimized tax treatment, and the lower interest rate due to pooling of the cash flow from the completed project at trust level. The interest has got reduced from 9.7 to 8.6, and saving of 110 basis points, which will result close to 400 crores of saving over the period of 4 years. and amortization for next 5 years that will reduce from 23.6 to 8.5%, around 15% on 6,390 crores. That is a close to 1,000 crores saving over the period of 5 years. On toll collection front, for Mumbai, Pune and Ahmedabad, Vadodara, per day toll collection has improved to 67.8 million for the quarter ended December 31, 2023, as compared to 58.7 million per day for the quarter ended December 2022, a growth of 16%. For private InvIT on aggregate, per day collection has improved to over rupees 81.2 million for the quarter ended December 31st, 2023, as compared to rupees 60.8 million per day quarter ended December 22, a growth of 34%. Increase in toll collection is on account of tariff revision, increase in traffic, and addition of IRB Golconda Expressway Private Limited, that is the Hyderabad ORR project. The total order book of the company stands at approximately 36,000 crores. Within this, EPC order book is close to 7,000 crores, and next 2 years executable order book, including EPC and O&M, that is close to 10,000 crores, thus providing good construction revenue visibility for next 2 years. We are also witnessing change in terms of mode of award from NHAI. As against 5 to 7% BOT award out of the total project awarded by NHAI in past several years, NHAI has now an intent to award significant portion on BOT basis. Identified opportunity on BOT basis is worth close to 2 trillion, that is 2 lakh crore. We will be bidding for these opportunities apart from the TOT project. These projects will be executed through private InvIT. Equity requirement will reduce to 51%, that is close to 15% of the project cost. Now I will request Sri Tushar to cover the financial highlight for Q3 FY24. Over to you, Tushar.
Thank you, sir. I'll take the financial analysis for Q3 FY24 versus Q3 FY23. The total consolidated income for Q3 FY24 has increased to rupees 2,077 crores from rupees 1,570 crores, an increase of 32%. The consolidated toll revenues of Q3 FY24 have increased to rupees 637 crores from rupees 554 crores, an increase by 15%. The consolidated construction revenue for Q3 FY24 have increased to rupees 1,441 crores from rupees 1,017 crores, an increase of 42%. EBITDA for Q3 FY24 increased to rupees 978 crores from 801 crores, an increase of 22%. Interest cost has increased to rupees 433 crores as against 367 crores, up by 18%. Depreciation has increased to 251 crores from rupees 215 crores, up by 17%. PBT has increased to rupees 294 crores from rupees 218 crores, up by 35%. That after share of JV, that is 51 crores, has increased to rupees 187 crores from rupees 141 crores, an increase of 33%. Cash profit has increased to rupees 489 crores as against 369 crores, an increase of 33%. Now I request moderator to open the session for question and answers.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Alok Deora from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Good evening and thanks for the opportunity. Sir, just wanted to understand firstly on the ordering front, this year has been pretty muted in terms of NHAI awarding. We have seen almost like 1,000 kilometers of projects being awarded as against the targets, which would have been close to 5,000 kilometers or so. So what's the thoughts here? Because we just have kind of effectively this month where projects could be awarded, and there are many contractors who have not really received any awards. So just your inputs on that.
So you're very right. As we have been, I would say that the stand that we have been articulating for last couple of years, that the NHAI debt is significantly rising and a change of track was somewhere on the anvil, that seems to be proving right. And as Anil mentioned in his opening statement, that almost 2 lakh crores worth of BOT projects have now been identified and announced by NHAI. That clearly shows that the path going forward is going to be more tweaking towards private participation-led growth and less of government funding. So yes, this will be a significant departure from their earlier strategy that they have been following for last almost 7-8 years.
Alok, just to add, this year in spite of the lower award, we have bagged award worth of 16,000 crores as against 6,000 to 7,000 crores kind of run rate in earlier year.
Sure. Yeah, you have been mentioning about this BOT toll coming in a big way, but do you see anything materializing in this year, in the next couple of months?
Certainly not in next couple of months, because as we all know, the elections will play out over the next couple of months. But the toll BOT project identification is already done. They have put it out for bidding. Bid documents are out. So I think it will be a good fit that by the time the elections get done, the interested bidders will be able to go through these documents and bid on this project. But as soon as the elections are done, I guess this will catch momentum very fast. And from there on, we believe there will be a significant activity in the sector for sure.
Sure. And secondly, congratulations on getting this arbitration award. So what's the next step here, and when can we see the money coming in, and whether there could be further appeal, and just some clarity on that?
Going by the past track record, we have seen that NHAI does go into litigating it further, say up to Supreme Court. Even the Goa claim that we realized, it took almost 1.5 years to get the money out, right, going up to the Supreme Court SLP. But we are hopeful that with the Vivad Se Vishwas Tak scheme being in existence now, for which the cutoff date the government has revised couple of times. So on a normalized basis, I would say yes, this award also is likely to be challenged, and we might see a process of almost the same 1.5 year kind of timelines to get this money realized. But at the same time, if there is any moderation or any review in the scheme or any more clarity on that, then this actually can unfold faster as well. But at the moment, we are assuming in our thought process that we will go through the court process and should be able to realize it another 1.5 years kind of a timeline.
Sure. Just last question, so a little specific on the number. So this interest cost is kind of been flat on a QOQ basis. So I believe we mentioned about it would be coming down. So anything on that?
So Alok, if you see, we have discussed in the last quarter about some corporate debt being drawn for the purpose of equity infusion for the Hyderabad-Wara project, and accordingly the debt interest has gone little high for the quarters which you see Q3 and Q2. But as we see that the repayments will happen, and today also if you see, because of the higher MCLR rate, the interest are at the peak. Now herein onwards, once the interest rate goes down, because our interest rate are linked to MCLR, and as soon as these MCLR goes down, we will see the interest rate cost coming down for us as well.
Got it. So for next couple of quarters, this would be largely the run rate on a quarterly basis with marginal decline.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Abhiram Iyer from Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Hi, congrats on a good set of results. My question was to do with the upcoming maturity on the offshore USD bond. Is there any refinancing plan that the company has, given that it's about basically 6 months left to maturity?
Yes, your observation is right, and we are working on it. In fact, we have taken a resolution in the yesterday's board meeting, which is also disclosed, wherein we have an enabling resolution to deal with this refinancing.
Got it. And what is the management plan here? I mean, do you feel the need to come back to the offshore market in order to refinance this, or are you seeing that onshore cost of funds is more efficient for you at the moment?
So today's budget was encouraging from that aspect that the government is going to crowd the bond market less than what we had assumed it to be. So that possibility remains, but we are not averse to re-looking at the forex market also for that purpose. And clearly, I think the pricing will be something which will determine the fate of it.
Got it. And what's in a similar vein, what is your current cost of funding onshore?
Around 10%.
10%. Got it. Thank you. I'll get back in queue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Rohit Natarajan from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. We have read some news article, media article, that there is some change in the BOT tolling projects, model concession agreement probably. The Road Secretary Anurag Jain, who was referring to that there will be a revised BOT project policy that will be rolled out within a month or so. Is there any color to it as a stakeholder, I mean, as an industry participant, that would have you got any picture about what that could be, or what were their suggestions, if you have made any as an industry representation?
So Rohit, your observation is right. There have been interactions between NHAI Road Ministry and the stakeholders in the last couple of months. And they had sought suggestions from the fraternity that what are the pain points which need to be addressed. They had even reached out to the lender. And what I gather is some 20-25 suggestions, amendments have been considered by them very seriously, and post they getting their internal approvals and the cabinet approvals, we might see a significant positive coming out of this deliberation, which will further enhance and make the BOT proposition a more positive construct to work on.
Got it, sir. My second point was on, in terms of this comment came from the Road Secretary itself, that he was alluding to the point that the time between the bid closing and the bid opening dates has now remarkably compressed, and there will be a faster rollout of projects before the end of March. Would that mean that, I mean, if I see the tendering pipeline, we have some remarkably good BOT projects, almost like 200 billion, whose bid closing dates are, I believe, in February, first week itself. Is there some possibility that there could be some surprises of BOT roll projects before the end of March?
See, I think it will depend. There are some low-hanging fruits because this list has been in the making for a long time. So projects where their DPRs are ready, their drawings and all other materials that we would be seeking from them is ready. Few of those projects certainly can be tendered out and awarded even before March, because now that they have announced the tenders, there won't be any code of conduct applicability on it. But the bidding itself can certainly go through, and the bids can be received, and that process can be completed in a couple of months for projects where they are ready in terms of their availability of the data that the stakeholders would ask for. So yes, to answer your question simplistically, few projects reaching a culmination is possible.
Got it. Sir, to allude to that point of 2 trillion project that we have identified, is there any a realistic time frame in which that particular 2 trillion can be awarded?
So if I look at the 2 trillion pipeline, it talks about some 5,500 kilometers. Now, if we go by the run rate of NHAI in terms of award, they have been awarding between 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers a year. So it would be safe to assume that the whole pipeline rollout can happen over 1.5 to 2 years kind of a time frame, assuming that this is around 40% of their overall pie, and the balance 60 might continue to be with EPC and HAM and things like that. So I would like to stick out my neck and say it would be around 2 years timeline over which this pipeline can be completely used up.
Got it, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Ronak Kapoor from Systematics Shares. Please go ahead.
Hi. I had a question regarding this Yedeshi, Aurangabad. There was a fall in toll revenue for around 13%, and even Kishanganj, Gulabpura. Any particular reason for that?
Can you be a little louder here?
Yeah. I had a question regarding this Yedeshi, Aurangabad. There's a fall in toll revenue of 13%, and similar to Kishanganj, Gulabpura. So any particular reason for that?
Yeah, sure. So Yedeshi, Aurangabad has seen some restrictions on the corridor beyond our project length, because of which there have been some diversions, and people have gone against those restrictions in court, and we expect some resolution in a month's time, post which we expect the collection to be normalized. In case of Kishanganj, Gulabpura also, I think
the adjacent corridor is under construction.
Yes, so the adjacent corridor being under construction is something which has caused some slight reduction in the traffic, and even that should come back to normalcy over a couple of months.
Okay, and one more thing was the total claims, pending claims was 3,600 crores overall. So I think you received 1720 crores now. Which can you just give a brief on which projects the claims are pending?
I think in the books the claim were accounted on the basis of the fair valuation, and this is the absolute amount which we have received, and this also included the interest to the date. So then definitely the amount which we have talked about, around 3,800, is not comparable with 1,700 crores. Including the interest, if the same pattern continues, the amount will be much larger.
No, but so any particular project which more pending from any other projects apart from Yedeshi, Aurangabad?
Yes, there are several projects where there was delay. For example, there was West Coast and the Solapur Yedeshi. Those projects were also awarded at similar time, and those also have faced the similar issue. And the claim is also on the same line. We expect resolution for those projects also in the coming future.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all the participants that you may press star and 1 to ask a question. I repeat, you can press star and 1 to ask a question. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Faisal Hawa from HG Hawa Info. Please go ahead.
How do you feel the kind of BOT orders will it limit now the space to very few players? Like from last almost 5 to 6 years, we have been seeing that apart from IRB, only 3 or 4 players were able to take BOT projects. But now that most road companies are also very debt-free, do you feel that the field will be now much more wider and there will be much more competition even in BOT? And will government kind of take any risks on the toll, or people will have to get in sovereign funds to co-partner with them?
So I think BOT is certainly I would say heavy lift. It's not as easy as doing an EPC job where working capital can sort out everything. The idea of significant equity infusion of 30-35% of the project cost is the limiting factor to my mind. And as you rightly said, the sector has seen significant consolidation over the last 2 years. And it has clearly separated the players with sound balance sheets and ability to fund with equity against the ones who are more keen on doing the EPC part of the project. So my sense is that there will be a slight increase in the number of bidders, but we don't foresee too much of a rush into the BOT space. This will remain limited basis the ability to put in the required equity into the project, and I think that will largely govern the criteria of how many bidders can come into this.
So, when you say limited, it would be like 3 to 4 players max?
I wouldn't say 3 to 4, maybe 6, 7 players, but I don't see a rush of 20, 30 players what we see in EPC repeating in the BOT space.
Okay, so only 3 to 4 players will graduate from EPC to BOT?
May not be the EPC graduating to BOT. What I feel is that it might be a combination of few funds who might want to come up and bid for BOTs who have already developed some capabilities on the O&M side.
Okay, got it. And so, how far is the NHAI, debt problem? And do you feel that the changes in the road ministry are now more structural and cannot be reversed, even if one minister is replaced, or is it still driven by that one personality?
I wouldn't comment on any personality. I would just say that NHAI debt, which we could figure out from the reported numbers, is close to 400,000 crores. So, if we look at the budget numbers of 2.7 lakh crores, significant part of that is going towards land acquisition, servicing the annuities of the earlier projects, and paying the interest on the debt. And the balance would then be also required to upkeep and maintain the existing portfolio that NHAI has. And only a limited portion of that would then be available for deployment into new asset creation. And that is what has necessitated NHAI to relook at BOT and invite more private capital to come into it.
And so government had announced many green highways and green expressways. So have they followed up on that, and which will be the nodal agency which will do it?
I can only comment on projects which have been announced and where bid document is available. Beyond that, all the other endeavors is better put across to road ministry.
So they have not followed up much on their public announcements.
When the bid is announced. We can
Any large bids have come out for expressways?
So there is a whole host of there is a detailed presentation of Road Ministry which is available, in which they have enlisted the entire list of projects that they are contemplating to bring up on BOT basis. So if you dip into that, you will find all the names of all the individual highways that are coming up on BOT.
And so there is talk about this fast tags and as well as the toll booths that will now go out of operation in 2 years from today. So will it further enhance our capabilities or revenues, or it will not have much of an effect?
See, any automation will always lead to more efficiency, and that is bound to happen because the stoppage time goes down, your manpower requirement goes down, your turnaround time goes down, and yes, the journey becomes much more comfortable. So certainly, people wanting to travel by road will certainly go up as a result of this.
I appreciate you answering my question so well, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. A gentle reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. I repeat, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Virendra Maiskar for closing comments. Please go ahead.
Thank you everyone for being with us on this call for the third quarter. Look forward to have you all for the next call post audited results, and we wish you a good budget outcome today, and look forward for more interesting sector updates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your conference for today. We thank you for your participation and for using Research Bytes conference service. You may please disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a great evening ahead.